Hey everyone, welcome to another Lunch and Learn. I'm going to be hosting Gregory Goldson here for today on Tuesday, and you can expect me to host tomorrow as well for back-to-back. Jared should be able to host on Thursday. And just a quick reminder for everyone, if you did not get the email, we have another EST stand-up time. So not everyone's able to make the typical 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. Monday through Friday on business days sort of thing. So we decided to add another one going on from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Same sort of structure, come in with your training questions. It's not a lunch and learn style where we're dealing with specific projects. We are just there to answer your training inquiries. But now you got another time in case you got meetings that blocked out your chance to get to the first one. As always, feel free to check out our DocBot site. It is fantastic. Works pretty reliably, I would say, and can really help you just outline a process that you're trying to build by you just specifying, hey, can you tell me how to do this, this, and this? And it can give you a pretty good outline of it, as well as just answer specific questions about how decisions works. We have our decisions support that we highly recommend checking out if you need anything. And of course, the solutions marketplace that has various sorts of projects that you can import, test, and work with in your decisions environment. Okay, so that's the long and short of things. And you can start submitting questions now. No rush on it, of course. And we have a few. All right. Yeah, here, let me unmute you real quick and you can go over what those questions are about assignments. You should be able to talk now.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Uh, got a couple of issues that are cropping up with assignments that we can't kind of work around yet. So every once in a while, someone will have an assignment and they bring it up, like they click on the email link and it brings up the assignment. And for whatever reason, they don't actually click a button to complete the assignment, but they click off of their browser.
Okay.
And sometimes that will complete the assignment. And the next time they go into it, it says completed by, and then it's blank. So it really didn't register that it was completed by anybody, but it did complete the assignment. When I go in and run a query, it's the assignment is marked as complete.
Hmm.
But there's nobody's name in there. There's no action. So I don't know what happens there, but basically that assignment is from that point stuck. And I don't know how to rejuvenate an assignment that gets like that.
Hmm.
Um, so that's my first question. Is there a way to make an assignment once it's whatever status is in? Is there a way to rejuvenate an assignment?
Yes, there is absolutely a way to do that, and I'll create one here so I can show you right now. Okay, we'll just hit the add task. We'll make a form while we're here as well. Oh, lovely. Decisions is going to do this to me. Hold on. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Give me a moment while I restart my decisions instance, and I just realized y'all are still staring at the lunch and learn screen. So let me stop sharing, share a new screen here. Okay, you should be able to see my decisions instance right now. I'm going
Yes.
to give it a quick restart because it's not being friendly. This will take less than a minute, maybe more than 30 seconds. But you have different you have two primary columns in assignments that track its completion status. And
Mhm.
I'll demonstrate those with a quick show and tell in a moment, but let me show you at least how that works. So drag and add task, there it is. Let's make a form real quick. I don't have any in this one. This is called the assigned form. All I have to do is click a button and it's fine. Let's save that. Okay. And then I will assign that to myself. Assignment name, do this. Assignment action name. And then that should be all I need to configure. All right, so if I run this flow real quick, that's going to assign it to me. I don't want to complete it now. I'm going to run it once more. I do not want to complete that one now. And now when I go to my public folder inbox, should be able to see the two do this assignments, right? So if I right click one of them and hit do this and just hit done, right, then it goes
Right.
away. What that
Right.
looks like on the database side is what I want to show you real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
So query editor, uh, select all from entity underscore assignment. And I shouldn't have a lot in here. I take that back. Looks like we have a lot in here. Notes, entity name, where it's like, and I think I called it do this. So let's see if that works. There we go. There they are. Okay. So two different assignments. One's completed, one isn't, right?
Hmm.
Over here, you have completed, assigned, and current. Those are the three primary ones that are going to determine how this works. In particular, completed is current. Is current determines the visibility of the assignment to the user. So whether or not they can see it, right? So
Okay.
it will appear in their inbox if is current is true, and it won't appear in their inbox if is current is false. So
Hmm.
conversely, for completed, completed indicates that the action is no longer available, while false indicates that the action to complete the assignment is still available. So
Hmm.
you can alter this query, right? So
Hmm.
select all. I'm going to do an update query. I'm going to do update entity assignment where, and then I'm going to set completed equal to false. Where, and I'm going to go off entity ID this time because I don't want to try and take guesswork with that. They're the same thing. So let's see, assignment ID. And the one I want to set to false is going to be the top one. So I'll get that, copy that, where, and then we'll run that. It affected the one row. So now if we go out of this, that
Hmm.
actually there is one more thing I need to do. Hold on.
Yeah,
I
I
need
think
to
I
make
tried something like that before and it
We have
didn't
to
work.
make sure that is current is also set to true. Otherwise, it won't display, right? So let's run that. Now let's save that. Yeah, I guess I don't need to save the query. And then let's confirm if that worked real quick.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
back, inbox.
Let's see
Both are
that.
still present. The
Right.
state is set to completed. Hmm, interesting. I thought that would
Yeah.
go back,
That
I'll
was
be
the problem I
honest.
was finding. I was trying to do that to reset them like what you're doing, but I could never get it to be able to pop that screen back up. It wouldn't go back into the assignment page.
Interesting. So even if it recognizes both of those fields, it still won't reshow the
Yeah, it
action.
displays on there, but it just won't go back into the flow and allow somebody to re-engage with that assignment.
Okay. Let's see here. And just to make sure that I understand the goal of this completely, you want them to be able to resume where they were in the form or just to be able to do it if they didn't do anything?
Yeah, to basically to um, so that it can be reset basically so that it looks the assignment thinks it just never really happened. And that right there is one of the things I was going to ask about too. What does that do exactly?
This
That
is
reuse
something,
assignment.
the reuse assignment, it's something I need to look into. If I can be honest, I don't fully understand how this is used as far as the reuse assignment portion of it.
Neither
I'm
do
not
I, but
sure. I'm not
that's what
sure.
I was.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. The two most educated guesses I have about this are one, it works for being able to, you know, reinitiate the assignment again, right? The second thing I think it might do is when someone has an assignment and you set
Mhm.
reminders, like to set it to different types of escalations if it's late, if it resends the same assignment, or if it just sends a new blank assignment that's like this one's in this stage of late, this one's in the warning stage, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that is something I will look into and get back to you because I don't understand the capabilities of this fully, and I would like to
Yeah,
as
neither
well.
do I. I read the documentation on it and it kind of says what it does. It like if you hit that always, you'll pop up some more little check. Yeah. I don't know what that does. I don't know how that actually functions. And I guess I can do some test stuff, but I really kind of wanted to know exactly what that is doing because this might solve my problem.
Right. And I'll absolutely look into that. I can ask DocBot a quick question on it. That couldn't hurt. But I will look into that as well to confirm exactly how that functions and send you back an email with that. And let's see. What does assignment, if I can spell it, assignment reuse do in decisions? Please tell me. And let's see if DocBot has a more comprehensive answer. Because, yeah, the documentation will like tell you outright, but without any context for what it's telling you, it doesn't really make sense, you
Yeah, it
know?
doesn't give me any use cases like where you would use that or why. And I'm thinking
Right.
it might, like you said, it might solve my problem, but I'm hesitant to just, um, do it without understanding what it does.
Yeah, I'm getting
And
the
I,
exact same thing from the doc. It
yeah,
just spat out documentation at me. It's not giving me a
yeah,
detailed.
yeah. And I did try what you tried earlier, what by go ahead and trying to sequely update that assignment table. But I got a feeling it's hooked into some of those other tables that it mentions that it's seeing it as completed still, and it never really lets you go back and reset it to where a user can go right back to that page with that assignment and reactivate, redo it.
Right. Vitali's raising his hand. He may have something to say on this. Go
Okay.
ahead. You should be able to talk now.
Okay, I think what it does is that if at some point in your flow you go back to the same form, it will not create a new assignment. So you can pick what you want to do. So it's gonna reuse the old assignment. So for example, you complete this form, then with some logic, you look back to the same form in the same flow. It will reuse the old completed assignment instead of creating new one.
And allow them to like re-engage with that same assignment and like
Yep.
either approve or deny it
Yep.
all over again.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do some test case with that because that's kind of what I wanted to do. Because sometimes these things just inadvertently get stuck somehow. Like I said, where no one really interacted with it, but it's the system thinks it's completed, but no one really did that. Um,
Right.
and it even
Let
comes up with a message that says completed by blank. There's no user ID assigned to it. So obviously no one interacted with it. It just thinks it's completed.
Let me show you one more thing that might be able to work with this. So I just created another one. I've done one of the, yeah, I'm sure I do. So this is the most current one I just created now, right? I added two assignments, so it's still in the middle of this flow. We can go to administration, system tools, flow management, and we should be able to find the running flow. There should be a list right here, which is very strange because it's an assigned form. You would expect. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. All right. So create assignment. This is the most recent one that we did, right? So if I were to look at this, I have different steps that it's hit, right? So this is the one that's currently on. This is the one that it hit right beforehand that we completed, correct?
Right.
So I can go back to that by restarting it at this step. And now the user is going to be reassigned that same form as before, or they should have been. What happened? Let's see. Maybe I sent it back to the wrong one. Just a moment here. So if I go back to that, there should be an assigned form. There we go. Here's the most recent one. And then, yeah, form, assigned form step, it should be sending to administrator. If I run from the start step again, step is not a form step. Oh, because it's not going to let me do it from a non-async step or just synchronous step. Yeah. Yes, I do want to rerun it, reassign it, please. And it's not registering. I'll look into that then. But yeah, it might be
Yeah.
what Vitaly was suggesting as far as that's concerned. I will ask our developers and also get back to you on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check because I'm trying to like I've got some administrative pages that pop up with these assignments that I would love for them, if they're an administrator, to just go in and say, okay, just open up that assignment again at that step and let them do it again, you know.
Absolutely.
And there might be other use cases for that. Even if they did complete it, maybe they just want to say, well, we still want to restart it there and, you know, for whatever reason. So I just want that flexibility on an assignment that's already been completed to basically say, no, go ahead and redo it. Which that reuse assignment thing, I'm thinking is probably going to be the ticket for that, but I need to understand exactly how that works.
Right. And yeah, that I'm leaning towards that. I'll get you that information as soon as I have it and let you know
Okay.
what I find.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Sure thing. Did you have any further questions about
No,
assignments?
that was it. I'm just trying to figure that out so we can nail that down for us.
Mm.
And
All right.
Greg, I would need some help deciphering it, but I did find there's lots of stuff on our like internal message about this kind of concept and how to resolve. But you'd have to decipher some of the language with me. But we have some stuff for you, James. We'll get you some answers here in a little bit.
All right, great. I appreciate that.
You got it. Cool. Glad to hear it. Thank you. All right. So that's question number 1. It's pending an answer, but addressed. Anyone else have any further questions? I see we have some more people in the lobby, so let's give it just a moment. Can you please show some examples on how to use external forms? Here, let me let you talk real quick, all right? All right, let's go in and make an external form together. So I can use the same assigned form for an external form, by the way. External form is not a different flow design pattern here, but rather just how things are handled in the platform. So I'm going to assign this to my account again. I've clicked on add task external form, and then I'm going to specify the assignment name. Once again, external assignment. And then once again, we'll call do this assignment. Okay. You should be able to talk now. What particular questions did you have about the external forms? Like, what are you looking to accomplish with them?
Yeah, thanks, Gregory. So yeah, I saw this option called external form in decisions. Like the idea is to create my own custom form, something with with my own HTML, CSS stuffs. I was planning to build some kind of a chat UI with something like a chat, a text area and a button saying send request. And then I wanted to build a text area, kind of an HTML area on top of it, where I can once the questions are asked, I just wanted to populate that area, something like that. So I was just curious on how to build our own custom forms. So yeah, of course, I would like to extend this in the future, like to to use my own what do you call like HTML or CSS libraries. But I wanted to understand if that external form is similar to what my requirement is.
Let's see here. Okay. I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong on this, Rob. I believe external forms are a reference to an external URL that
Mhm.
pulls back with, like, I believe it, um, I believe it calls a separate form of Vitaly here. You should be able to talk still.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for the external form, you can create your own form the way you want, hosted somewhere. And then in decisions, when you run the workflow, you hit that URL external. And when you hit that, you'll be sending flow tracking ID and step tracking ID. So when you go out of decisions to that form, you do your stuff on your form. Then when you
Okay.
submit that button, it will call back to this step in your flow. So your flow will stop and wait until you click that callback button. And that's why you will need flow tracking ID and step tracking ID in your external form.
Was that making sense, Satish? So it's an external, it is a form that you are calling from some site or service that hosts it. So you have a server. In
Okay.
that server you are calling, you have created this form already, not in decisions, but
Yeah.
somewhere else entirely.
Got it.
Once you hit this, the
Okay.
flow will pause,
Okay.
go to your external server and call that form to be completed. Once completed along the specified path, right? So we're specifying an outcome path here, right? Service outcomes. Once it specifies along that completed path and hits the URL of your external server, that completion will then trigger this flow to continue along its normal path. So instead of a decisions created form that just pops up and waits for you to complete it, it's now waiting on that external server that is providing the form itself. And once that's completed along the specified path, it continues along your flow and decisions.
Okay, so can this external form in the server diagram that you've got, can it talk back to decisions again? Can you make it like a loop kind of?
Yes. So the way it calls back when you call that form that you created, you will need to. Well, it's gonna happen automatically. You'll send in query parameters, flow tracking ID and form step tracking ID. You will need to use that on your form when you submit. So when you want to go back to decisions and submit some data to the workflow, you will need that flow tracking ID and step tracking ID so for decisions to be able to find that flow and unpause that and continue.
Okay, so is there any example or like kind of YouTube video, any kind of video material that you have related to external form?
Let me take a look.
Right.
I'm not certain off the top of my head, but I can absolutely check real quick and see if that is something that we have. I am looking this up. I will let you know real quick. Let's see.
I do remember that on the documentation side, I guess version 7 or 8, there was an example of like a simple JavaScript HTML form that you can use.
Yeah, I don't see a video on it, but you said, where was that, Vitaly?
Not on version 9 documentation, but I'm sure it was on version 7 or 8. There was an example attached to the documentation.
Okay, okay. I think I know where to look for that. I'm gonna pull up our doc site real quick here. And I will pull it over once I have it because I believe it's going to be under projects, external forms. See if we have it there. Using external forms. Yeah, here we go. I will move this over here real quick. So here we have, hold on, let me drop the annotation. Can you all still see this over here?
Yeah, I can see this. Yeah.
Can see
Okay.
it.
Cool. So in our documentation under the project section here, we have a using external forms section. This has an example that it provides a project down here that you can download and import into your environment to test this functionality. So this external form is going to call that specified URL. It specifies the parameters here to put in order to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it should be able to give you kind of an idea of how that works outside of the typical documentation of just like how do they work.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great place to check under projects if you're looking for particular use cases for this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to put this in the chat real quick so that everyone else can see this real quick. Let me save that, or rather copy that, and then let me throw this into the chat. Oh, Jasmine already threw that in. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
No problem.
All right, so you should have access to that now, and please let me know if you have further questions. I'll be glad to follow up on you. I will look into this more myself to be able to recreate this on the fly, but that is the outline of the process of how it works.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I will have a look at it. Maybe I'll try this out, and if you have any questions, I'll come back to you.
You got it.
Yeah. So one follow-up question on this. So
Mhm.
I just want to know, like, what is the level of customizing? I know we have dashboards, we have forms, so at the to interact at the UI level, right?
Mhm.
So what do you think is like a level of customization that we can make on these forms to make it more, I would say more user-friendly, or something that aligns with our custom branding, so things like that.
Just about anything you want. You can add CSS to forms. So you can use whatever your company, if you have a company CSS file that you use for other products or other services that you run, you can import that directly into Decisions and use that for form controls. Each form control, you can use Inspect Element, an external tool of some sort to be able to figure out what particular elements you're going to be editing. If I go into here and I go under designers, I believe, and go to CSS. Here is a list of all the system CSS that is going to be added to Decisions. And then this is the custom one that we added to make round buttons. All right. So we can go over here. You can see some of the different displays that are going on. And of course, you can do that anywhere. If you're talking about things outside of the form, you have particular themes that you can add over here by going to the system, right-clicking, hitting theme, and then hit theme editor. This is going to let you add your own custom images for anything that you see in the portal dashboard area, in the Decisions environment, as well as stuff on the login screen and the icons that you'll see. So you can make this as customizable as you want for your company.
Okay.
Yep. And then,
I have a suggestion. So I would not use external forms in this case because, for example, if you go outside of Decisions and let's say somebody doesn't click your button to come back to Decisions and just closes browser, then you will end up with a flow stuck in memory in your Decisions.
Right.
So what I would do, I would just use API calls. So for example, if you need to redirect somebody from Decisions, I would just use redirect. And then when you come back, instead of external form, when you come back, I would just use redirect back to Decisions page, or when you hit that button, just call Decisions API services with the data.
Okay, so you're suggesting to build it on the forms interface itself, right? So whatever I'm trying to achieve,
right.
instead of using an external form.
Something you can even do as well is you can allow for a runtime CSS name. So if I were to save this and now I go into create assignment, you'll see here that one of the inputs I can specify is going to be the CSS directly. I can set this as a constant, pass in my CSS data right in here, and that will get applied to the form dynamically, or I can select it from a flow. So if you have different people that need different layouts for their files, you can then just have that configured at runtime.
Okay, okay. Got it.
Do you have
Okay.
any further questions on the customization? Because this also goes for dashboards, by the way. You can do the same CSS stuff on dashboards.
Okay, okay. I think I'm good for now. I'll come back with any other follow-up questions. Maybe I'll join the tomorrow's call. I'll try a few things which you shared.
You got it. We'll be glad to help.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Alrighty. Any more questions? I've seen, well, I guess not too many more participants. Give it a few moments here, and we're going to try to apply Jared's round button. So I'm not going to do this dynamically. Let's just go into here. Form outcome scenario. No, 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 no. I just want to pick a CSS already. Should be able to specify it in here.
Gregory, it's form properties.
Thank you. I was over here and I'm only seeing the allow runtime, so I'm not sure why I'm missing it. I don't think it's under here either now.
So you said we can apply these custom style sheets, right? Can we invoke like a custom JavaScript function or jQuery function in decision on a click of a button? Like if you wanted to create any JavaScripts.
Like a JavaScript button.
I mean, if I want to write any JavaScript code or a jQuery code, does decision support that? The forms that you show here.
Yes. Yes, they do. You can add custom form controls to decisions. I am going to save this and exit. I believe it's under create form, but let me confirm. Yeah, the form, normal form, end form, JavaScript control. So you absolutely can add any sort of custom JavaScript to create your own form control within decisions to do basically whatever you want. In order for decisions to support this, you do need to make sure that you have the .NET SDK installed as well, because decisions, you need to install ASP.NET Core runtime, and you also need to install desktop runtime or the hosting bundle if you're running on ISS. But you also need to make sure that you install the .NET SDK from decisions if you're going to do that, which is specified in our documentation that I'll bring you to once again. Give me just a moment. I'm going to drag this over once it decides that it wants to load, because I don't know why it's taking a while. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. All right.
Gregory, I think you don't need to have .NET SDK for JavaScript controls. You can just write JavaScript and just use it.
That might be for a different part of it right here that I'm thinking of then. I'm thinking maybe the .NET SDK is required
That's for
the
custom steps.
Right, custom steps is the .NET SDK, not the form controls. That's what it was. But yeah, it specifies the .NET requirements for decisions here, and then over here on that same site, you see the SDK downloads.
Okay, so we need to download this. We cannot do it online. Is that what you are saying?
No, not for the JavaScript controls.
Right, not for those. No, this is if you wanted to make a custom step in decisions.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Okay, make use of the SDK and create those custom steps.
For the custom steps, yeah, the form controls, you can just write JavaScript and add them to the form. You don't need this for the JavaScript. If you're making custom steps, you'll need this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is that thing that you showed now? Like you showed a JavaScript control, right? On the, can you go back to that dashboard?
Yes, absolutely.
So we have some JavaScript control like add script. So
Mhm.
this is something that we cannot use it here, or like what is the purpose of this one?
This is for you to add the JavaScript control you're talking about, right? So you create a name for it, you specify the control type, and then down here you pass in the JavaScript file that will then be used to create this control for your form. You can then
Okay.
use that by going over here under user controls,
Okay.
not user controls, my bad, JS controls, and then it should be listed under here.
Okay. So if I want to load that JavaScript, well, when this form is getting loaded, should I, well, like, what I have to do here, really? So do you understand what I'm trying to say? If I want to input any custom jQuery library in my form and I want to use it in my form, let's say I go to the JavaScript control and add that control over there. And how do I tie that jQuery to this form?
You just drag and drop it like other controls.
Drag drop it here. Okay.
Yeah, it'll appear like an error control does here, and you just put whatever you want.
Okay. Okay, let me try this. Maybe I will try a few things and then I'll come back. This is
Absolutely.
useful. Yeah. Thanks for your help.
Yeah, sure thing. And a reminder, that's under create form and then JavaScript control.
Sure. Thank you.
Of course. Absolutely. Okay.
Also, Gregory, can you go to JavaScript control documentation, because there are specific sections in your JavaScript that you need to implement for this thing to work. It's not just like a vanilla JavaScript.
Right. I gotcha. I'm pulling it up right now. And then we got the JavaScript. Or it might be under JavaScript control using library, JavaScript page controls, creating JavaScript form controls. There you go. So this is the basics of it, right? The different types that we saw here, where you got to specify the type. It was set on default to scripts, but you could specify page control, data control, action control for what you're looking to do, because the different controls do act to serve different purposes already. So you do want to specify that in your Java control. Here is the more advanced one that you were talking about, where creating the control has this background. This is basically the structure of the code that you want to use to create that control.
Yeah, so
Which-
basically that prototype initialize is required. And if you scroll down, resize is required, and set value. All those sections are required. They could be empty, but they are required. And get value as well. So that's the structure of JavaScript that you need to use. You can leave them empty if you want to.
Yeah, this specifies the different types of parameters that you'd be able to use with it, and then specifying how to put this into the decisions environment by adding it. I will throw this into our public chat once again so that everyone can see this. There you go. Now you should have access to that, Satish. So you can, of course, go to our site for it as well, but now you've got the basic layout of what you're going to be looking to do when you're creating that code.
Yeah, sure. This is really helpful. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, it's 12:40. I have not seen anyone else join for past 20 minutes or so. So if we're not getting any more questions, I'll give it the countdown I like doing. So going once, going twice. All right, and that's going to do it for today. Thank you all very much for attending this Lunch and Learn. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.